So one of the things that I've talked with you about all season long is about compaction. It's been a problem for us this year since day number one. We've been out in the field with our tensiometer taking compaction readings. We know what we planted into this spring with cool, hard soils. We've had a lot of rain, and we've certainly had a wet harvest that have all led to compaction issues. And while we've talked through all of this, there's a lot left to talk about when it comes to the issue of compaction and what our plan now as we wrap up harvest and move into this fall, winter, and next spring is. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I'm Keith Byerly, Precision Ag Manager here at Central Valley Ag, and this is your precision focus that corresponds with the article on the CVA blog site. So when we talk about compaction, what we really are talking about is compaction remediation. What can we do to solve the compaction or at least lessen its effects when it comes to growing for next season? We know the magic number, and that's 300 psi. Anytime that our compaction level reaches a number greater than 300 psi, those roots, whether it's corn or soybeans, have trouble getting through the soil, getting through compaction layers, and finding additional nutrients and water that we need to have them not only survive, but really thrive and hit those maximum yields. So as the calendar turns here to November, we ask ourselves what we can do about it, and we need to consider some things. First of all is all this rain that we had in the month of September and into October that delayed harvest so much. As we look at that, we look at a soil that's got a full moisture profile in it. True, we may have dried out the top 4 to 6 inches, but we're really not going to dry out the rest of this soil profile until something is actively growing on it again. So we've got ourselves a problem. When it comes to remediating compaction, we really want to have a soil that's dried out and will fracture when we run a tillage implement through it. Without that, we're just going to end up making ourselves a mess that we've got to turn around and do some other tillage on to make plantable for next season. So we turn to the other side, and that's our cover crops and our things like tillage radishes that are supposed to help this problem. But again, remember that 300 psi number. If we're over 300 psi, our tillage radishes are just going to grow down until they hit that hard pan, and then we'll see that tillage radish push up and out of the ground, and we really don't remediate that compaction. So that's my take home for today. I don't know what the answer is. When we talk about compaction remediation, we either talk about mechanical, plants, or freezes and thaws. But remember, freeze-thaw cycle is the term that we talk about for breaking up compaction. The key word in that is cycle. If we don't get several of those freezes and thaws throughout the course of the winter, we really don't break anything up with one freeze or one thaw. Even this winter, when we have a lot of moisture in the soil and we're likely going to see some pretty good frost heaves, that doesn't break up much compaction. So we're in a waiting game. We don't necessarily have a great solution in front of us for mechanical remediation right now, and precision ag, this is one area that we don't have a lot of tools that are going to help us. So unfortunately, my advice for today is to simply have patience and wait and see. Don't rush out and make a brash decision about ripping in wet soil, and don't decide to do nothing. Just play the cards that are dealt us, and we'll see what we get as we move down the road.